Hi, and welcome everyone to your San Diego home buyer class. My name is Tristen, and I will be your guide today. My partner Glennis and I are passionate about helping people purchase homes for their future and making the most safe and secure decisions that they can. So, we're going to talk about some of these things today. Keep in mind that your situation is completely unique from anybody else's, and you are going to want to find a unique plan that is just for you, which is why we offer some one-on-one consultations. And I'll be dropping the links into the chat to book those consultation times with me and Glennis and our trusted lending partners. So let's begin. Let's get into a little presentation mode here. Hang on, let me move me. Okay. At the end, there'll be some time for questions. So go ahead and do me a favor and grab a piece of paper and a pen. And that way you can take notes and ask your questions at the end. All right. So here we go. We're going to begin. Let's see. Present. All right. Okay, so today we're going to go through our San Diego home buyer class. We want to make sure you're not making any costly mistakes during the home buying process. As a buyer, most of our clients right now are feeling like they need some help. And so are you feeling right now a little stressed out about the idea of buying, especially maybe in today's economy? Maybe a little bit worried that you're going to make the wrong decisions. And that's very common. We see this a lot. Are you a little anxious about the idea of buying a house and becoming a homeowner? And maybe you're feeling overwhelmed in the ideas of buying a house. Well, that's why we're here. We're here to help you alleviate all of these issues and come up with a good plan. So today we're going to talk about who we are and the mistakes to avoid. We're going to give you four mistakes that we see the most common, but there are many more for this. We're going to give you a few tips to buy a house, and then we'll end with some Q&A and book on one-on-one appointments. Okay, buying a home isn't just about finding something you love. It's a smart, strategic, secure, and decision that sets you up for long-term success. The truth is that most buyers are flying blind. They're scrolling and they don't really have a strategy. They rely on online calculators that don't show the full picture, and then they fall in love with the wrong home and overpay or get beat out by other better prepared buyers. So let's talk about a few of our clients that we've seen have some really hard times. And this is a client that we ended up selling their house, but when they bought, they paid over $40,000. So they fell in love with this house and they didn't really realize the listing was overpriced because the agent they were working with did not run a comparative market analysis really understand the market. And so they made an offer. They got the house, which is great, but they could have gotten it for a lot less. And so they ended up overpaying by $40,000, which really impacts your long-term value equity. Glennis and I have over 25 years of experience. We have hundreds of clients served. We specialize in the local San Diego market. We also go up to Murrieta and Temecula. We've sold several houses there. We have a ton of referrals and industry network people like contractors, painters, people that you wouldn't just be able to find on the internet. Okay. Another story we have about clients is that no one explained how repairs work. So one of the things that you don't think about when you're buying a house is how does this negotiation process work? How does actually the home buying process go? And one of the things we need to think about is that we have home inspections and we have contingencies to protect you. And we can ask for repairs. When buyers are not represented, they don't know this. Or if they have a bad agent that isn't really a strong negotiator, they're not able to negotiate or find the right inspections to save them money. And this particular client ended up with a busted pipe and they didn't get a sewer inspection, and it was a $22,000 cost that we could have avoided for them. Here's a little client love from a client that we helped buy and sell a house. So she was outgrown her house. They had a small child and a toddler. They were very overwhelmed. They were very stressed. They were worried about selling and buying at the same time. We created a seamless event for them so that it was easy for them to be able to find the right house, sell their home, move out all without too much disturbance in their lives. All right, so what are some of the steps to home ownership? Number one, coming to this class, ask your questions and book a one-on-one. Number two, get pre-approved with a mortgage broker. Now, listen, if you don't want to get your credit pulled yet, that's fine. We can definitely just have a chat so you can get an idea of what you might need to do. Start house hunting with the realtor and move into your new home. Hopefully, it's that easy for you. Let's talk about some market trends right now. We're still seeing steady price growth, even though it's not as high as it was. We are seeing 4% gains month over month. And I'm sorry, year over year. We're not seeing 10%. That's good for you. And that's better, more of a stable, healthy market. We have more homes being sold and more inventory coming on the market, also good for buyers. There is still good buyer competition, especially on high desired homes, homes that are move-in ready and in great school districts. And some sellers are making price adjustments. We're seeing about 40% of homes have price adjustments now. So there could be a good opportunity there for home buyers. So let's talk about the mistakes. Mistake number one. We see a lot of home buyers, we're doing the right things, and I'm so happy to say that, but they are doing it in the wrong order. Number one, they're starting their searches online, Zillow, Redfin, and they're watching and watching and watching, and they're waiting for home prices to drop. But what happens is you end up chasing the market and you don't ever get in the market, and you're missing out on all those years of equity. They refuse to look in areas that you could actually afford. Of course, we'd all like to be by the beach, but that's not always possible. And sometimes we got to start inland a little bit so we can work our way up to the beach house we dream of. Not interviewing enough realtors to understand how you can save money and what realtors really should be doing for you. And then you're going to open houses without knowing how much you can afford. And so you don't really know what you're able to buy. You go to new construction without understanding the process. Real estate agents can save you money. They can also give you some help in closing costs. They can negotiate. So don't go to a new construction home thinking that they're there to help you. They work for the builder, and you need somebody to work for you. And finally, a lot of people just get tired, walk into an open house and use the first realtor they meet, hoping it works out. All right, two mistake. Waiting for the perfect house. Of course, we'd love to help you get the perfect house, but you could be buying your starter home and getting into the market. So you don't lose any money. So let's talk about dream versus reality. Instead of waiting for the perfect home, you could start building equity and move up. This is the best. This is the way I've done it in the past. So you definitely need a list, a want versus needs list. And we'll be sending you some checklists at the end of this that you can utilize. Location trade-offs. You want to balance neighborhood perks with home features. So this is where it's going to come in. Is it more important for you to have certain things in your home or the location? Renovation potential. Are you willing to do a little bit of renovation, maybe some light remodeling? That could help you get a much better deal on a house today. So must-haves versus nice-to-haves. Must-haves, these are the list you're going to make. Non-negotiable features should be anything that you just will not tolerate. So you might need a certain amount of bedrooms, bathrooms, price, garage, school district, location, and those are going to be your non-negotiable features. Your nice-to-haves, maybe fully remodeled would be nice to have, but you're willing to do some remodeling. Maybe a giant backyard, but you would be willing to have a smaller backyard, things like that. Okay. Prioritize your list, be realistic about your budget, consider your future needs, whether you're going to have a growing family, or maybe mom and dad are going to move in with you. Mistake number three, not getting pre-approved to find out which programs you qualify for. Notice that I didn't say how much you can afford. But notice that I said programs that you qualify for. So there are a lot of homebuyer programs out there. There's a lot of rules and regulations about them. So we'll get into those soon. Let me see what we go. Okay, let's talk about the different types of mortgages first, and then we're going to talk about the programs you could qualify for. Okay. So one mortgage people don't think about is the USDA loan, and this is 100% financing, so 0% down. And they don't think about because of it's usually in rural areas, but things like Ramona, Lakeside, Alpine, Sports of Fallbrook, all can qualify for this, okay? Really good for people who are not having a lot of money for down payment. Then we have our conventional loans. They're not government-backed loans. You can put as low as 3% down. If you want to avoid private mortgage insurance, PMI, you need to go 20%. This is good for people who have good credit. Let's talk about ARM loans. ARM loans are adjustable rate, and those got a really bad rap, but this can be a great way to get a lower interest rate. If you are only going to be in your house for 5 to 10 years, I want you to really consider an ARM loan. Even if you're going to be in it longer, you can refinance to a different rate when the rates come down. Um, so you're not stuck in this, and you choose when it adjusts. So I think we're not educating people enough on ARM loans in the past, and now we can definitely talk you through this so that you can have an educated decision. FHA loans, those are going to be our government-backed loans, and their down payments are about 3.5%. This is good for people who need some help with their credit. Okay, it's a really good first-time home buyer, low down payment. You will have some mortgage insurance. And then VA loans, if you have been active duty in the past or a veteran now, this is amazing. You get help, your interest rates are lower. You have no down payment. It is a fantastic loan and a great benefit to our veterans. All right, so let's look at down payments. Okay, so some of our down payments, you can go as low as 0% for VA and actually USDA. And then we can go all the way here. Now, we also have CalHFA. CalHFA, you get a second mortgage to pay your down payment. And this can be great for people who need that help, but it's very particular. It's set it also with these down payment assistance program, very particular. You may qualify for these if you have certain income limits, if you have a certain amount of people living with you, and only certain cities in San Diego County do it. You need to work with a specified lender, and they usually have to take a home buyer class, but it can be really worth it to get a grant that's going to cover your closing costs or your down payment. So that is something you're going to want to book a one-on-one appointment with us, and I'll drop the link in below into the chat so that you can get on the calendar so you can find out if you qualify for this, okay? Very helpful to a lot of people. All right, credit scores. So credit scores go from anywhere from 300 to 850. Some people I've worked with don't even have a credit score. That's a problem. So we need to have some kind of credit score, and you can see here what affects your credit score. One of the things that we offer is credit counseling, totally free. We'll help you look at your credit. We'll help you decide what is going to be the best things to pay off to get the most impact on your credit score quickly. And then we'll rapid rescore you. And this is normally $550, but we do it complimentary. You will need to book that one-on-one call, and I'll drop that link into the chat here. The higher your credit, the better rates you're going to have. But this is all floating, But the funny thing is, the number one thing to get a great credit score is own a house. So once we get in there, your credit's going to jump, and that will really help you. All right. Are you a veteran, doctor, first responder, teacher? We have a program for you. There's a lot of first responder, teacher, doctor programs out there for our heroes. We call them hometown heroes. Veterans, obviously, we have VA loan, but other people, we have hometown heroes, nurses. That's a good one. So make sure you're booking that one-on-one to find out about those programs. All right, mistake number 4, working with too many agents thinking you're going to get a better deal. This is like common. I want to talk to the listing agent, but oftentimes listing agents still getting paid the second commission. They're taking both sides. They're not saving anybody any money, and they're already representing the seller, so they cannot really represent you. Here's a couple of other reasons of why you need a buyer's agent in today's market. So the buyer's agent is here for you. Not only we're not opening a door, we are there to walk through the house with you and walk you through this process. It's a legal binding document and there's inspections and you want to make sure this house is sound and you want to make sure that you're not going to get into a house that's falling apart. It may look good on the outside, but what about the inside? So all these different things. We also want to guide you to make the best offer, negotiate on your behalf for your interest, whether it is price or repairs or timelines. So these are very important things. So choosing the right agents, you want to talk to several agents. You want to make sure your personality aligns with them, your communication style aligns with them. They have experience, they have testimonials, they have referrals and references. Maybe they have some credentials and certifications. And discuss this. You deserve the best representation for you, especially because in today's market, you're going to need to pay for your agent. Okay. So working for multiple agents can cost you your dream home. Real estate agents invest a lot of time. We work for free until we close a deal. So we want to put our efforts into people that are loyal to us. And that way, if you do not commit, then you're probably not going to get the best service. Let's be honest. Okay. We also have some pocket listings that we share with our loyal clients. And you could have some legal issues. If you sign too many buyer broker agreements, you could be in trouble legally. So in today's market, the buyers get paid by the buyers, technically. Now, we're still seeing that home sellers are offering commissions. So that is still the most general way that home buyers agents are getting paid. And then that's no cost to the home buyers. And it works out really great for everybody. It's kind of the standard that we had before. If we don't have that, then possibly the seller and the buyer could split it. There's a negotiation tactic here. So you may have to cover the difference in whatever your buyer's agent is charging for their services. Okay. It's just like working with a CPA lawyer, right? Would pay for the service. Okay. And then finally, if the seller's not offering any compensation, you could be responsible for the full amount. So please make sure you are discussing the fee for services that your agent charges. All right, tips and tricks. Let's talk about it. Neighborhood evaluation, very important, guys. Look for crime rates. There's so many websites you can pop in an address, but nothing is going to do it better than going to the neighborhood. Is it being gentrified? Is there more building happening? Is it a new community that's going to build equity in the future? Okay. School districts, very important, right? Even if you don't have children, resale value could be dependent on that. Look at come into the neighborhood various times a day. I always say go at Friday nights, go on the weekends. Is there a lot of cars parked? Is it really loud? Is it really quiet? Okay. And then we're going to help you look at environmental considerations, whether there's flood zones, natural hazards, all of those things once you open escrow. So looking at the location and future resale value, I always encourage my clients to make sure they're thinking about this because you never know what's going to happen in the future. Are you going to be close to amenities and the schools, right? How's the job market? And do you have to drive far for jobs? Choose a home that appeals to a broad market and look for signs that neighborhood improvement. And be cautious of being the most expensive house. Okay, let's look for the potential for property appreciation and be mindful of the area changes. We can't time the market, but you can look at real estate cycles, okay, and economic indicators, and you can monitor the inventory levels and the days on market. So the common pitfalls, overextended financially. Okay, we want to make sure we're not doing that. Stick to your budget, even if you're approved for more. We have to factor in everything about homeownership, repairs, insurance, taxes, all of the things. Skipping important steps like inspections. So the inspections are at the cost of the buyer. The buyer has to pay them. But I will tell you, you'll kick yourself if you don't, because you need to know what is going on with this house to make sure it is the right house for you to buy. If you end up not liking what happens in the inspections, you can cancel and walk away. Okay. Don't rush this process. It can lead to time and money and costly problems in the future. Okay. Another pitfall, not researching the neighborhood. Visit at different times of the day. Your home's location affects both your daily life and its future value. Emotional decision making. While it's natural to feel excited, don't let emotions cloud your judgment. Stay objective and stick to your lists. So, big one, must get inspections, okay? It uncovers hidden issues. Your inspector will examine the home structure, systems, and components. It's about 450 to 650, depending on the size of the house. We can find things like roof problems, electrical issues, plumbing leaks, foundation concerns, and HVAC inefficiency that we can then negotiate repair credits or repairs. Then we want an appraisal on the house, and that is going to make sure the house is the value that you're offering. If your appraisal comes in low, you can negotiate with the seller, you can challenge the appraisal, or you can pay the difference in cash, which I don't recommend doing. When you're having questions, this is a perfect time to book that one-on-one. Okay, book that one-on-one. So, what are the next steps here? Book a call to discuss your personal situation. We'll get you in touch with one of our lenders and you can get pre-approved. You can either just have a conversation or you can go through the full pre-approval process. You are prepared and ready. And then we'll go on a buyer consult and do some home shopping and start to discover what's most important to you in this purchase of your new home. All right, so here's a couple of different questions that we get often. And we'll open it up shortly to some Q&As. But let's talk about just these real quickly. Student loan debt is absolutely fine, but you will affect your debt to income ratios. So that means if you have student loan debt, you may just not be able to afford as much of a home. So that's important to include when you're getting pre-approved. Getting pre-approved for a mortgage, oftentimes, you definitely need it to go and make an offer on a house, but you need to understand what your purchase power is and what you're comfortable spending. You could look at over 20 to 30 houses before making an offer, but if you're really well organized, you may find it quickly, and it just depends on what's available in the inventory as well. We talked about what happens if the home appraises for less. There's a lot of negotiation that can happen in that time. There are many first-time home buyer programs in our area. That's where you're going to definitely need that one-on-one consultation with us. And property taxes in the area range from 1% all the way to 2.5%, depending on different factors, different locations, and something called Mello-Roos. Again, another reason why we need to talk one-on-one. And what's the difference between a buyer's agent and a seller's agent? Well, that's just who they have their commitment to, who do they have their contract to, and who do they have their fiduciary duty to. So we hope that you have found this helpful. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the recording now and answer one-on-one questions. And I look forward to talking to you one-on-one.